Hello everyone, welcome back to Simulated Heaven and welcome back to Car Mechanic Simulator 2018. I wanted to make a short video just to showcase a new DLC that is coming out in a couple of days. So let's look at the car showroom to go over that. Now they've brought out quite a lot of DLC. You can see the Bentley one here, the Dodge one here, Jeep, Lotus. That was the last video that I made because I absolutely adore the Lotus Esprit. That was like my childhood favourite car, you know. But they're now, in a couple of days, bringing out a Pagani series of DLC. Now, before we open this up, I kind of wanted to find out from any of you guys that play this game, do you like the style, like the way that they structure the DLC? Do you always buy them? It seems like that they have a policy of having relatively small but relatively cheap DLC, right? And they have quite a few of them. So I would just love to know from anyone that actually plays the game a lot how you feel about this structure of the DLC. It seems like when you look at the Steam reviews, all of the reviews that I can remember looking at for the DLC on this game, they all seem to be positive, at least. So it seems like the community seems to like the DLC, but I would love to hear from any of you enthusiasts out there for this game. Right, I don't even know how to say this, but I'm going to start with this because I think everyone has seen this Pagani many times. So let's look at this one first. And here we go. Now, this thing, to me, looks a bit more luxurious, doesn't it, inside? Maybe that is just me, but it seems like it's not quite as stripped out and sporty as the other model. Look at that. Oh. Now I kind of have an idea as well in this video. After we've looked at these two cars, I wanted to kind of compare the non-branded vehicle, or one example of a non-branded vehicle in this game, to see how it compares with the branded DLC. Look at that interior, man. Personally, I would say I've never really been a massive fan of this brand of cars. They seem a bit garish to me, but I suppose if you have loads of money, wow, look at that. I suppose if you have loads of money, there are people out there that like this kind of, in my opinion, slightly garish styling. I don't know. But hey, everyone likes a wide variety of things. We don't all like the same things. Wow, look at that view. Otherwise, the world would be very boring if we all like the same stuff, right? What is that? Oh, I think that's just some kind of like catch. Oh yeah, that's the catch for the door. Cool. Okay, let's have a look inside. Show rust. A rusty sports car. That doesn't really look like rust. It looks like it's been abandoned at the Dubai airport. Anyway, let's look inside. Okay. Yeah, like I said, in my opinion, a bit garish, but I'm sure there's people out there that do like this styling on interiors. It's very in your face, isn't it? But yeah. It's looking pretty good, right? For some reason, when I'm in this view, it doesn't allow me to zoom in and out. It would be really nice if it allowed me to zoom in and out and stuff when I'm sat here. It allows it in the exterior, but it doesn't allow it when I'm in the interior. But yeah, that thing looks pretty cool, right? Looks pretty cool. Right, so there you go. Let's have a look. Oh, so can we just choose? No, we can't. So let's go back to the main menu and choose the other one. Okie dokie. This one. Yeah, so I could be wrong, but to me, this interior looks a lot more sporty. Yeah, I think it certainly is. It's more kind of stripped out, isn't it? So I suppose that this is the more kind of stripped out road legal sports car or road legal race car style of car, isn't it? I suppose it has this very aggressive air vent at the top. And again, lots of people seem to like these cars. I find them a little bit garish, but yeah, there are certainly people out there that seem to like this styling. I suppose it does look like a kind of racing car, doesn't it, more than a regular sports car. Actually, when I was a child, like a teenager, young teenager, I used to keep up on all the sports cars. I used to read various books and things and used to keep up on them, but I don't really do that anymore, so I'm not really completely au fait with these sports cars. But yeah, I've obviously heard of the brand, but I'm not the world's leading expert on them. Again, show rust. Oh no, someone has abandoned it. It doesn't really look like rust, but then again, the body, I don't think that the body is made out of metal, so I suppose it wouldn't rust, would it? Okay, so let's explode. Okay. So you can't really open up anything else, it seems. Interesting. Well, there are some sports cars, very high performance sports cars, where the manufacturer won't allow the owner to get access to the real engine, if you know what I mean. They only allow access for the essentials, like topping up fluids and stuff like that. I can't remember what car that was exactly, but I did see one of those kind of high performance sports cars with one of those styles of engines. And here we go. Yes, this is certainly very stripped out, isn't it? So I imagine that this vehicle will go very fast. Now this is one situation where I would love to have that option that I was talking about earlier, where you could zoom in and out, because I would love to be able to zoom in on this stuff more. And also where I'm sat, where the camera is right now, to me feels a bit far away. So it would be nice to be able to zoom in a bit. Anyhow, does look like a interesting vehicle, and I'm sure there's lots of people out there that will rather like them. Now let's get rid of the body, have a look at the engine. Zonda R AMG, look at that. I would love to know exactly how accurate this is. I am not really very au fait with real car mechanics, so if any of you are, I'd love to know how realistic everything is on this. I would assume that they've had to take out some of the more complex systems and wiring and things, I would imagine. So I would imagine this is almost like a simplified version. Look at that. Some kind of cooler at the front there. I can't really get the camera to... Oh yeah, there it is. It's even got a label on it. Lovely. Okay, so like I said earlier, one of my ideas is to kind of try to compare one of these branded cars to a non-branded generic vehicle in the game, just out of interest. So let's go back to the menu and find another one. Okay. What would be a good choice? A generic sports car. This actually looks like a Range Rover, doesn't it? But it's not. I suppose a sports car would be something like the DC Typhoon, maybe, which is a generic car. The Cobra. There isn't really a generic vehicle that would be on the same level as the cars that we looked at earlier. I suppose let's go for that. The car that I just said up here. Yeah, let's go for this. So I believe this is modelled after the AC Cobra, I believe. But then again, what do I know? I suppose it's hard to compare because this vehicle is more of like a classic vehicle, isn't it? Rather than what we were looking at before. It does look very similar in terms of the details. I mean, yeah, it does look equally as detailed. Let's well, why don't we take off the body, look at the engine. Yeah, it does look equally as detailed. It's just it hasn't got obviously any of the branding on it. It's just a generic thing from what I can see, but it still looks pretty detailed in the same kind of manner. There's even a label or a couple of labels on there, so yeah, pretty nice. So let's look inside. I suppose we should put the body back on, look inside. I suppose you would say maybe parts of this interior, some of the texture work maybe is like flatter. You could argue not quite as detailed as the DLC vehicles, I suppose. Again, I'm not an expert. I think I want to try a modern generic car. So let's have a look at a modern generic car. Let's look at the Cobra. Yeah. Because the interior of that might kind of give me an idea, you know, regarding the level of detail kind of thing. Because it might be kind of more similar to the... Yeah, okay, so... I would say now, looking at this car, there is a definite step up in quality. When you look at the texturing and everything, I mean, it's still pretty okay. But I think with the DLC, the branded vehicles, it does seem like they've kind of gone a little bit of a one step further on to see, you know, to improve the level of the modelling, you know. That's certainly what it appears. I would say on the Cobra, it maybe wasn't quite as obvious, but on this car it seems more obvious in my opinion. Again, I would love to know what your opinion is. I mean, it seems like these DLCs are going down pretty well, but I would love to know what you guys think. Any of you out there that do play this game or have an opinion on this game. Anyway, that video was slightly longer than I'd anticipated, but anyway, hope you enjoyed it, and maybe if I'm very lucky, or who knows, we might just see you in the next one. Bye.